Alright guys, so I'm going to do a little Valorant tier list for you. I want y'all to know that this is not my opinion. This is just fucking objective fucking reality, okay? We're going to start off with the worst one, and then continue on to the best one, okay? And the first one, which is the worst, has got to be OMEN. I'm sorry guys, OMEN's the worst. There's nothing too bad about him, but he's just way too niche. His main ability is pretty cool. It's a big hollow smoke that recharges, but his two teleport abilities and his blinding ability just don't have enough value to warrant picking him. His ultimate can send you into their flank behind them. You can literally teleport to their spawn. But the thing about that is they get an audio cue, and their whole entire team is going to have their guard up and be looking behind until you're dead. So there's a kind of trade-off there, you know what I mean? Maybe you can be a little distraction, but yeah. And his blinding ability, it's all right. It's like a flash, but it's super telegraphed, and as soon as you send it out, you're gonna be giving up your position. They're gonna know where you are, and it's just not a good ability compared to, you know, Phoenix's flash, where he can go straight in after using it. The blinding ability can be easily dodged, I feel like, unless you're, you know, directly behind a box and you're putting it, you know, straight through the box to get the guy on the other side. But in some situations it can blind like a whole team. Like if you send it down a hallway, it's kind of hard to peek off of. I mean, I guess you could set it up for your teammates or something like that, but it's just not that good. I'd rather have like a Phoenix flash or the Breach flash. Alright, the second worst character. This is probably going to give me a lot of shit, but sorry, this is objective reality. It's got to be Viper. She's really only good for two abilities. Her ultimate's not even that cool. Her Venom pulls, you know, it does a bit of damage. It's kind of like a Molotov, but, you know, it's a whatever ability. The Big Daddy is her main ability, the wall. Alright, I don't know if that's actually her main ability, but the wall, okay? The big fucking wall that you can send through the sky and it drops down, okay? You can split an entire site into two and force people into awkward engagements, and it makes site takes easier for your team. It can also be good on defense. You can block off certain portions of the map and make retakes easier, or make it harder for them to take the site. Her main mechanic is her toxin levels, which is pretty cool. Once you throw your smoke down or your wall down, you can put those aside and then take them back up later. So maybe you block off the site for a take on the site and you kill everybody on site. You want to put it back down, and whenever the retakes are coming in, you can put it back up. The only real problem that she has is that she doesn't bring enough to the team. Other characters bring more. Her ultimate is decent, but you know, things can kind of get scuffed and your teammates can get poisoned by it. And I've just never seen super good plays with the ultimate. I mean, yeah, you can hide in it after a bomb plant or go for a defuse with it, but I feel like it's just way too niche. SOVA is the third worst character. Sorry guys, I'm sorry. I know all those SOVA mains out there. It's objective reality. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Alright, he's a budget CYPHER. Alright, he's more useful on the attacking side. He's got his drones and darts that he can send in, but I think as the meta develops, he's going to get countered pretty easily. His shock dart is kind of niche, and his ult is annoying, but only likely to net like one kill, sometimes two. His drone makes a lot of noise, it's super slow, and it's kind of like CYPHER's camera, but it just does not have the equal value. It has a price tag of 300, and compare that to CYPHER's camera, which is free charge. It gets recharged during the round. His drone is just completely outclassed. JETT's the next one on the list. She's the most mobile character in the game. She's got 3 smokes, 2 high jumps, and a dash, and you can pretty much get into any area on the map, unlike some other characters. You can dash through smokes, dash through walls, dash through any kind of damage or ice. That's like those little ice slows. She kind of separates herself from the team in that way. I think she's kind of a character that will go in and you kind of bait her while they're trying to shoot at her. I mean, that's kind of her gameplay. I can't really see her, you know, in any top level kind of experienced player going up against her having trouble killing her while she's dashing around and stuff. It's just not going to be a thing. She's kind of a pug stomper, okay? It seems like on one hand, this character's entirely made to like fucking yeet right through the entire defense and kill the whole team. But if you're against competent players, it's never going to play out like that. There are significant drawbacks to her abilities. She makes loud sound cues telling players which ability she used. If you fly up, the enemy will know that you flew up. If you dash, they're going to know that you dashed. There's also a delay whenever you pull out your guns for these actions, and you need to pray you pull it out quick enough before they react to the sound cues. I was putting the video together, and I completely forgot to mention her ultimate. Her ultimate probably sets her apart from any other character in the game. She pulls out 5 knives. Whenever you kill somebody, it recharges. So it's basically kind of a snowball effect. Say you get a headshot, boom, chain them together, keep going, keep going. I feel like this ultimate for any regular player isn't going to be too great. You can shotgun the knives, which is pretty low skill cap, but on the other side, the left click, the normal usage of the ability is to get a headshot. That's the fastest TTK, just like the Vandal, just like the Phantom. And if you chain headshots together while using your mobility, this could be the best ultimate in the game. This is probably going to be the highest skill, highest echelon players will use this ability and use it well. Alright, you can dash and fly in the air while you're headshotting people with these throwing knives, okay? But the problem is that no one's perfect. Alright, a good usage of the ability for a regular player is to use this on an eco round and go through and try to entry frag a site while using your mobility as a tool. Alright, Breach is next up. His objective in the game is to just stun and flash the fuck out of the whole enemy team. Alright, Breach can, he can peek off his own abilities, but they are so highly telegraphed that it's a lot better to get a good lineup and let your teammate follow it up than for you to peek and then let them see where your ability's coming from, you know what I mean? His ult is kind of a buffed version of his normal stun, and with some good coordination, it can kill a whole team. He has a corner clear ability that's, whatever. It's so highly telegraphed that nobody's going to get fucking hit by it. You can, knock them out of the corner and then shoot them as they're peeking, but all in all, this character is made for, heavy teamwork and coordination. I don't think his solo play is very good. Say you're in a 1v2, 1v1, you're going to telegraph so hard that they're going to know where you're coming from, and I don't feel like his abilities are... His flash is pretty good. You can peek off of his flash, but the other abilities, maybe clear a couple corners. That's all it's really useful for, but yeah, he's mainly a support character. Next up is CYPHER. He is the most annoying character in the entire game. His whole theme is to get the edge on you instead of taking aim duels, okay? His camera is his most important piece of utility. He can hold flanks on the attacking side and hold entire corridors on defense without even looking at it. His tripwires can be easily destroyed, especially against some astute people, but this can also work in his advantage. You will still know where someone is when they break it, and that makes it equally as valuable. It's still worth it. His smoke is pretty god tier as well, and I think this character is going to have a pretty high mental game in the meta, where you place your tripwires, where you place your camera, and think about those 1vx situations where you can place a camera, clear out corners really quick, and get them to either destroy it, which you'll know where they are if they destroy it. You can also place the camera down and, clear out little corners without having to peek it, okay? Brimstone's next up on the list, and he throws a fuck ton of smokes. That's his job. They're pretty good ones too. They last about 15-20 seconds each, and if you plan on chaining these 3 smokes together on one choke point, the enemies are going to have a terrible time, especially on defense. You can just keep smoking, say on Haven, smoke C long, smoke C long, smoke C long. That's delayed for like a whole 40 seconds. But even more important is on the attacking side. You can cut off 3 different choke points, 3 different peak spots. Think of on split. You can smoke off heaven. You can smoke off CT. You can smoke off ramp and just go straight in. That's like 3 spots full cleared, and you can just peek the rest of the angles yourself and trade each other. I think this is going to be a must pick for good team comps. He's got a Molotov and a weapon speed buff, but I think the real juice is his smoke and ultimate, which, by the way, can kill an entire area of the map. Phoenix is the best entry fragger in the game, especially considering his ultimate, okay? His mobility might lack from the other duelist, the duelist which is RAZE, Phoenix, and JETT, but this character is the combination of the best utility the game has to offer. He's the jack of all trades in this game. He can wall like Viper, although it's a little shorter. He can still curve it and do some crazy shit with that. He can flash like Breach, and he's got Molotovs like Brimstone. Also, he can fucking heal himself with his own fire shit, yeah. So there's that too. He's a very clutch character. He can have a lot of versatility in a round, and he brings a lot to the team. Maybe fill those gaps in between the 4 other characters. The best of the best. And these 2 characters are kind of on an equal playing field, although I feel like one is better than the other. So we're going to first start off with the second best in the fucking game, which is RAZE. Alright? Her raw damage output cannot be understated. Although through, further testing, it's clear that her grenades aren't going to be too bad to dodge. The act of having to dodge itself is a huge advantage in her favor, especially when you're clearing corners and force and aim duels when someone's not ready. Her ultimate is huge. It's basically a free kill every time you have it, maybe even 5 fucking kills if you're lucky. Her boombot can get some early recon, and she's one of the 3 characters that can self-boost, with her C4. She's got a lower skill cap than JETT, but can frag out just as much, probably more. And that makes her fucking broken as shit. And the number 1 has got to be Sage, and it's not even a fucking contest. Her ability to slow down the game is unmatched by any of the other characters. She's the only agent besides Brimstone that should be a must pick in any serious team composition. Her slow orbs and ice wall are the best utility in the game for cutting off choke points, and that's before I even mention that she can resurrect and heal teammates. Every single thing in her toolkit can and will be used almost every single round. And that concludes the tier list, everybody. And I want to clarify that every character can hold their own. This game is not like League of Legends or World of Warcraft, where your abilities run the game. This is a game about gunplay first and utility and ability second. Except for RAZE. But yeah, besides that character, everything else, they can all hold their own. But I think there will be some tuning in the future. This is just closed beta, so there will probably be a lot of changes coming in the future. I think Sage and RAZE are getting nerfs, so we'll have to see how that develops and how the meta develops across the closed beta and going into the actual release game. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Shut the fuck up, you fucking bitch.